Want to tell me what's wrong?
I went to see Dr. Smith yesterday.
How bad is it?
Stage 4.
How much longer?
Not long. Says I'm gonna need to find a place to stay put for a while.
Well, I've known you my whole life, and even though we didn't run in the same circles growing up, I knew who you were and some of what you've been through. It's a small town, people talk. But regardless of the whispers and the loud claims, you've always been a good customer. You've never caused me any problems, and unlike some people, you always pay when service is rendered. You don't strike me as one to want or need a lot of friends, but I consider you my friend nonetheless. You can stay here as long as you need.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Gonna let any family know?
There really isn't anyone left other than me and my Aunt Dottie. I wouldn't sold her little piece of paradise with this shit for all the money in the world.
Are you scared?
Not really. Curious, maybe. Hadn't really thought much about my own death and dying much until now. What do you think happens when you die?
I'm not sure what to think. Seems like most of the religions have one thing in common. You die and you're lifted up to heaven by an angel. You get to walk on the streets of gold for all of eternity, or you're surrounded by virgins if that's your thing. Then you have all those people that have claimed to have near-death experiences. They say they see some light at the end of the tunnel, some out-of-focus humanoid figurine beckoning them to the other side, whatever that is. Wouldn't it be crazy if it was an alien dragging your ass across the universe to go through this crazy shit somewhere else? Sorry. Starting to sound a little dark. Kind of sound like you. Anyway, I guess there's no way to know until, you know. What do you think happens?
I've heard all that shit too, except for the alien thing. So yeah, who knows? After listening to you and thinking about it though, I can tell you what I think would be nice. Maybe when you die, you'd go back to a fun time and place in your life. Maybe hang out there. Maybe it never ends. You don't realize it never ends. Hey, you're dead. You don't know. I think that'd be pretty cool. That'd make me happy.
I've known you for a long time, and I've never seen you act or look happy. So forgive me for saying if that's hard for me to imagine. Do you have a time and place like that?
It's true. There hasn't been a whole lot in my life that you can describe as a recipe for happiness. Most of it you already know. People talk shit. Mom died when I was young. Didn't really know her. Dad was an alcoholic. Not the fun-loving kind. I think he maybe blamed me for Mom in some way, along with plenty of other shit. Everybody knows how that ended, so no happiness ingredients there. And then as an adult, I've dealt with the dregs of humanity. Thieves, murderers, drug dealers, rapists, you get the picture. No happiness there either. But I had to pick a place. There was this one summer I spent at my Aunt Dottie's.
Why don't you tell me about it?
That little paradise I mentioned, Aunt Dottie had this place in Texas, right off the water, Caddo Lake, called Spatterdock. People from all over the world would come stay there. She had these pieces of art everywhere. You know, these Volkswagen Bugs, the car, they were covered in mosaics and figurines and other stuff. She had these bottle trees and other things all made in art. She'd make art almost like anything. There was these long winding docks that went out over the water with huge cypress trees all around them, all covered in Spanish moss. The most common description people used to describe her place was enchanting. Somehow, she was able to convince my dad to let me stay the summer instead of working on the farm like I normally did. I had the whole summer there with my 4 cousins, Dawson, SJ, Madeline, and Autumn. And every day was a new adventure. We would go fishing, kayaking, swimming. We'd even play in this old tree house. Sometimes Miss Dottie had this friend, Mr. Russell. He would take us riding out in his boat. We'd be beckoning him the whole time to go faster and faster. We ran around like a bunch of screaming banshees. It's a miracle none of the neighbors ever complained. Now looking back, I think most of them being older, they just enjoyed seeing us run around, remembering what it's like to be young and full of life. Even though I had never spent much time with them before, my cousins welcomed me as if I had always been a part of them. They were each unique and special. Dawson, he fancied himself some kind of ninja or kung fu master. When we were all having a blast together, he was somewhere outside because Aunt Dottie insisted, twirling some stick or making chopping moves or kicks. He even had a set of nunchucks, and who knows where he got those. Dawson ended up working at some paper mill as a mechanic. Pretty good job. He eventually opened up his own dojo where he taught kids and some adults mixed martial arts. Mostly it was just to give the kids a sense of integrity and honor and how to protect themselves and others, stand up for the weak. He was killed while on a trip to Chicago, attempted to help a couple getting beaten and robbed by a group of bangers. Apparently mixed martial arts isn't a match for a .40 caliber bullet. They never found those responsible. Then there was SJ. That boy always had a smile on him. Something about his smile was special. When most people smile, it's just a nice smile, but when he did, the whole world seemed to be a little brighter. Most cautious person I ever met, though. He certainly wasn't going to be the first one in the water. He wasn't going to be the one to initiate anything. Oftentimes, we had to coax him into whatever harmless fun we were getting into. Eventually, he came along. He ended up driving a log truck for a living, delivered to the same mill Dawson worked at. He's a hard-working dude. He would get up at 3 a.m. and drive that truck all damn day trying to get ahead. He was hit by a train at a road crossing just a few miles from that mill. Killed him instantly. Witnesses said the crossing bucks didn't even activate. With the curve in the tracks, he never saw that train coming at over 70 miles an hour. Railroad cutbacks. Shit wasn't even being maintained like it should have been. He's not the first one either. The community's been trying to get overpass there for years. And there was Madeline. She always had some random piece of knowledge, a little virtual walking encyclopedia. If you saw some flower, or insect, or animal, she could tell you all about it. Some weird piece of history or trivia relating to where you were, she knew it. You name it, she usually knew something, or at least knew something about a subject that you didn't know, no matter what it was. Most people might find that annoying, but we loved it. To top it off, she was a hell of an artist, too. She became a professor at one of the most elite colleges in the country. Youngest professor in their history to hold a master's in 4 different disciplines. History and English, agriculture, and of course art. Her students loved her. And guess what? Mass shooter. Who knows why? They didn't leave one of those manifestos. She took a bullet while shielding a group of her students. Another .40 caliber. And then Autumn, she was the oldest. She was our fun-loving, free spirit, our own little hippie flyer child. She didn't wear the same clothes as other girls her own age. She was usually in bell-bottoms with loose bellowing shirts and swirling sundresses. You know, all that stuff from the 60s. She had been a ride home hanging out at Woodstock with Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix and all those folks. She ended up working at a high-end jewelry store doing pretty good for herself, making a small fortune in commissions. She had a knack for convincing people with money to burn that they couldn't live without old sparkly rocks. Some thug thought it would be a good idea to rob the place, and she just went like a coward. She ended up being another victim of a .40 caliber bullet. Police never found that one either. Said there wasn't enough evidence. So yeah, that'd be my happy time, my happy place. Summer I spent at Spatterdock with Aunt Dottie and my cousins. I never really had the chance to spend time with them before that, or since. Yeah. Don't mind, I'm gonna take a cup of coffee on the front porch.
Yeah, that's fine. I've got some